Have you ever felt like God was silent, like your prayers were echoing into an empty sky? What if I told you? He's been speaking to you all along, gently, patiently, personally. This isn't just a message. This is a letter, a whisper, a divine encounter. And it's for you. Not just for the saint or the strong, but for the weary, the wandering, the wondering. So wherever you are right now, pause. Breathe. Because the next few moments may change not just your day, but your entire life. Let the noise fade. Let your heart open. And listen, not to me, but to the God who's been waiting to speak to you all this time.
My beloved one, before you were even formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I whispered your name across eternity, and all of heaven rejoiced at the sound. You are not an accident, not a fleeting breath in the vastness of time, but a purposeful creation, delicately woven with intention, strength, and love. I have watched over you in your moments of triumph and cradled you in silence when you thought no one was listening. You have longed for signs, waited for answers, cried through sleepless nights searching for something, someone, to tell you it's going to be okay. So now listen closely. I am here, speaking to your heart, not to condemn or shame you, but to lift you. You may not understand why certain things have happened, why you have carried so much pain, or why the people you trusted the most sometimes failed you. But none of it was unseen by me. Not a single tear escaped my notice. Not a single prayer went unheard. I was there in every breath, every silent scream, every collapse behind closed doors. My presence was not absent simply because you could not feel it. I was holding you when you could no longer hold yourself. I was moving the pieces of a greater picture, one far beyond what your human eyes could perceive. You thought you were broken beyond repair, yet I have always seen you whole. There is no place you could wander where my love will not follow. Even in the depths of shame, in the darkest recesses of your mind, I am still there, loving, waiting, redeeming. The world may measure your worth by what you have, by your accomplishments, your appearance, your failures. But I do not see as the world sees. I see your heart, the quiet battles you fight, the love you give without return, the faith you carry even when it's only the size of a mustard seed. And I call that beautiful. Let me remind you, your past does not define you. No mistake is too large, no failure too final. You have not gone too far, not for me. I am not a God of condemnation. I am the God of restoration. And if you let me, I will rebuild everything you thought you lost. I will restore your joy, redeem your story, and rewrite your future with beauty where there once was ashes. There is nothing wasted in my hands. Even the moments that broke you will serve a purpose in the healing I am preparing. Open your heart again. I know it's hard. I know you've trusted before and been disappointed. I know you've prayed and waited and watched others receive what you've been longing for. But you have not been forgotten. Delay is not denial. Every waiting season has its purpose. Sometimes it is in the waiting that you are made strong, that your roots grow deep, that your faith becomes unshakable. And when the time is right, what I have for you will come, not rushed, not forced, but with the gentle certainty of a sunrise. You are not weak because you've cried. You are not faithless because you've doubted. You are human and I am your God. I do not require perfection from you, only your heart. Come to me as you are, tired, confused, hopeful, afraid. Bring your worries, your wounds, your what-ifs. Lay them at my feet. You don't need eloquent words or flawless prayers. A whisper is enough. A tear is a prayer. A breath, lifted toward me in trust, moves heaven. You ask how to keep going, how to carry on when the weight seems too heavy. The truth is, you were never meant to carry it alone. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you fall, I lift. When you can't walk, I carry. When your soul is weary, I become your rest. Look up, beloved. There's more ahead. There is still beauty to live for, love to receive, purpose to fulfill. The enemy wants you to believe you are stuck, that you are too damaged, that you are forgotten. But none of those are true. You are my treasure, my child, my joy. You are still in the story. There is a reason your heart is still beating. There is a reason your lungs still fill with breath. It is because your purpose is not finished. You were created for more than surviving. You were made to thrive in me. I have placed gifts within you, unique, powerful, and holy. Not to compare with others, not to compete, but to contribute to the healing of the world in a way only you can. Don't believe the lie that your voice doesn't matter, that your dreams are too late, that your story is over. I specialize in resurrection. I turn endings into beginnings. I have seen the people who hurt you. I know the moments that tried to destroy your spirit. But nothing, no betrayal, no rejection, no failure, can override the plans I have for your life. If I have spoken a promise over you, it will come to pass. Heaven and earth may shake, but my word will stand. Do not look to the left or the right. Do not measure your worth by others' timelines. Stay close to me. I will guide you. I will teach you to walk in wisdom, to hear my voice above the noise of this world. Even when you feel lost, you are found in me. Sometimes the journey will take you through valleys. But valleys are not the end, they are passageways. There will be mountaintops again, and from those heights, you'll see how every painful turn shaped you for something greater. I'm not asking you to be fearless. I'm asking you to trust me in the fear. I'm not asking you to pretend to be strong. I'm asking you to lean into my strength. I'm not asking you to know what tomorrow holds. I'm asking you to hold my hand today. So come now, let this be the moment you choose to believe not in the storm, but in the one who calms it. Not in the voice of despair, but in the voice of truth. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I do not change, and neither does my love for you. Let these words echo through your spirit and awaken the hope you thought had died. Because I'm not done with you yet. No matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, there is still a place at my table and it has your name on it. You wonder if it's too late. Too many broken pieces, too many lost chances, too many times you've chosen the wrong path. You look around and see others running forward, thriving, laughing, while your soul walks through what feels like endless winter. But I need you to hear this with every fiber of your being. The clock of heaven is never rushed, never delayed. I operate outside of time, yet I meet you exactly where you are. Not 1 second of your waiting, your longing, your suffering has been in vain. Everything is being gathered into a purpose beyond your imagination. You may think your silence has gone unnoticed, but I have heard every unspoken word in the stillness of night. You've carried burdens so quietly, hiding your tears behind brave smiles. But I see beyond what others see. I see the ache in your chest when the world becomes too loud, when expectations become too heavy, when you carry the weight of everyone else's needs while forgetting to tend to your own. I know how tired you've become, not just in body but in soul. And so I am calling you now, not to work harder, not to perform, but to rest. In me, with me. For I am your refuge. When you sit in silence and feel like no one understands you, remember that I, the creator of your soul, understand every corner of your heart. I know why certain memories bring tears. I know why certain names bring pain. I know what you've survived and what you still hide. And I am not ashamed of you. I am not disappointed. I am proud that you're still standing. Even in your trembling, even in your doubts, you have not turned away from me. And that alone shakes the heavens with joy. You may think that others are more worthy, more faithful, more holy, more whole, but your worth does not come from comparison. Your worth was established on the cross, sealed with my blood, and affirmed in the resurrection. You don't need to earn my love. You already have it. You don't need to prove yourself to be accepted. You already belong. I never chose you because you were perfect. I chose you because you were willing, because your heart still leans in, because something inside you, even when bruised and battered, still chooses to believe there is light beyond the darkness. So I speak now to the one who feels overlooked. I see you. I speak now to the one who feels stuck, who feels unqualified, who feels left behind. You are not stuck, you are being prepared. You are not unqualified, you are being equipped. You are not left behind, you are being set apart. The work I am doing in you is not public, but it is powerful. Like a seed buried in the soil, your growth is hidden for a season. But just because it's hidden doesn't mean it's not happening. The breaking, the pressing, the silence, they are birthing something holy. Stop measuring your spiritual journey by visible signs. Some of my greatest works happen in the quietest places. It is in the wilderness that I spoke to Moses, in the cave that I whispered to Elijah, in the prison that I used Joseph, and in the desert where I prepared Jesus. Your hidden season is not a punishment. It is a sanctuary, a cocoon, a sacred space where transformation is taking place. You are being shaped into someone who can carry what I'm about to place in your hands. Do not resist the process. Surrender to it. There will come a time when you'll look back and understand why I didn't open that door, why I allowed that relationship to end, why the opportunity passed you by. You will see that I was not withholding, I was protecting. You will realize that the delay was not denial, it was divine timing. And all the while, I was fortifying your character, deepening your trust, teaching you the kind of faith that doesn't waver when storms rage. I have never abandoned you. I've simply been walking you through the fire so you come out refined, not burned. The ones who underestimated you, who walked away, who spoke against you, they are not your concern. I did not create you to prove them wrong. I created you to prove me right. You carry my image. My spirit breathes within you. Your story is not about revenge or vindication. It is about redemption and resurrection. You are not called to bitterness. You are called to brilliance. Not to hardness, but to holiness. Do not let the wounds others caused define your future. Let me heal them. Let me use them. Let me turn them into wells of wisdom and compassion. You are being positioned not just to survive but to lead, to carry light into dark places, to be a voice of hope in a culture of fear. And yes, I chose you, with your questions, your imperfections, your scars, because I know what's in you. I placed eternity in your heart. I planted dreams that haven't died but are waiting for your yes. All I need is your surrender, your faith the size of a whisper, your willingness to believe again. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to show up. This is your sacred invitation, to rise, not in your own strength but in mine. I'm not asking you to climb mountains alone. I'm asking you to take the next step, and I will go before you. I will open the way. I will fight the battles. I will provide the strength. My grace is not limited by your doubt. My power is not diminished by your weakness. You can bring me your brokenness, and I will give you beauty. You can bring me your silence, and I will give you song. You can bring me your mourning, and I will give you joy that makes no sense to the world. So breathe again, hope again, laugh again. You were not created for despair. You were made to shine. You were made to reflect me, to carry love in a world starved of it, to speak peace in a time of chaos, to extend forgiveness where others sow bitterness. You are my ambassador, my beloved, my light bearer. You don't need a title, a platform, or an audience to matter. Heaven already celebrates your every small act of kindness, every quiet moment of prayer, every hidden act of faith. This is not the end. This is a beginning, a holy rebirth of all that is true and good within you. The ashes of your past are not shame. They are the soil from which beauty will grow. And I, your God, will not let your story end in sorrow. I am the author of your future, and I only write stories of victory. You ask me why it still hurts. Why, after all the prayers, all the forgiveness, all the surrender, there are still days when the ache feels fresh, like an old wound reopening in the quiet moments. My child, healing is not linear. Even the deepest oceans have tides. Even the strongest hearts have shadows. The pain you feel is not a sign of failure, but of growth. Your soul is stretching, reaching toward the light, even when your mind can't comprehend it. And I am with you in every single pulse of that ache. Not distant, not observing from afar, but right there, beside you, within you, weeping when you weep and rejoicing when you rise. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You were designed that way. I placed within you a heart sensitive enough to love without limits, to hope against hope, and to break wide open for the sake of compassion. Do not despise that softness. It is one of your greatest strengths. The world may tell you to harden, to protect, to build walls. But I tell you, keep your heart open. Let it stay tender. That is how I reach others through you. It's through your empathy, your willingness to feel, that my light shines most vividly. Sometimes your scars still whisper, reminding you of what was lost, what went wrong, what you wish you could forget. But listen closely, those scars are no longer signs of defeat. They are the markers of survival. They are proof that what was meant to break you only brought you closer to me. And even though some days you may feel like you've lost your way, you haven't. You're still walking with me, step by step. Faith doesn't always feel like fire. Sometimes it feels like flickering embers, small, fragile, but still burning. And that's enough. Your faith is still alive, and so are you. You may think your prayers are small, that they don't change anything. But let me tell you, every time you whisper my name, the atmosphere around you shifts. Every time you speak words of kindness when you want to stay silent, you bring heaven to earth. Every act of faithfulness, no matter how hidden, carries weight in my kingdom. I see what no one else sees. I honor what the world overlooks. Do not underestimate the power of your presence, your words, your love. You have no idea how many lives you've already touched by simply choosing to stay. I know you've asked for answers, for clarity, for the kind of sign that breaks through all your confusion. But there is something greater. I want to give you: peace. Not the kind the world offers, fleeting and conditional, but my peace. The kind that settles deep within your bones. The kind that steadies you even when the storm rages. You don't need to understand everything to trust me. You just need to know that I am good. That I will not lead you into darkness only to leave you there. That I will not ask for your trust and then betray it. I am the same God who parted the seas, who healed the blind, who raised the dead, and I am still the same today in your life, in your story. There are things I've removed from your path that you cried over, and I understood those tears. But if only you knew what I was protecting you from, you would have thanked me. Some delays were shields. Some heartbreaks were redirections. Some closed doors were my mercy in disguise. What I give you in return will never compare to what you lost. You will see it. You will live it. The joy I am preparing for you is not just a feeling. It is a promise. And I always keep my promises. There is more to your identity than what others have said about you. There is more to your destiny than what the mirror reflects. I call you mine. I call you chosen. I call you holy, beloved, forgiven. The names others used to label you, failure, burden, mistake, those are not your names. Rip them off your heart like old garments and put on the truth. You are clothed in dignity, robed in grace, crowned with purpose. No matter what the world says, what I say about you is final. And I say, you are enough. Do not let shame speak louder than my grace. Do not let guilt drown out my mercy. The past you fear is not powerful enough to undo the future I've written. You are not stuck. You are being renewed. Every day, I am breathing new life into you. Every moment, I am shaping your story with beauty, depth, and hope. Let me take what was broken and make it holy. Let me transform your valley into a garden. You don't need to fix everything to begin again. You just need to say yes. I am not asking you to walk this road alone. In fact, I never meant for you to. I want to walk with you through every shadow and every sunrise. I want to teach you how to see the world through eyes of grace, how to hear my voice above the noise, how to love others without losing yourself. I want to walk with you not just in the sacred moments, but in the ordinary ones, in the washing of dishes, in the quiet commute, in the lonely afternoon. I am not a distant God, waiting for perfection. I am a present God, longing for your attention. So come as you are. Bring the mess. Bring the dreams. Bring the doubts. Bring the quiet desperation. I can hold it all. And in exchange, I will give you rest. I will give you purpose. I will give you a future. This is not a fantasy. This is not a poetic metaphor. This is real. I am real. And I love you with a love that cannot be measured. A love that is not dependent on what you do, but on who I am. I am love itself. And you, my child, are the object of that love. There is a longing inside you that even you cannot name. A quiet ache, like a melody you once heard but can no longer place. It stirs in the early mornings when the world is still and your thoughts are loud. It whispers during the slow hours of the afternoon, when you pause long enough to feel the space inside your chest. That longing is not a flaw. It is not emptiness. It is a call, my call, drawing you deeper into the life you were created for. You were not meant to live half awake, going through the motions while your spirit remains dormant. You were made to burn with purpose, to rise with clarity, to walk each day with a fire that cannot be extinguished by routine or disappointment. But the fire needs fuel, and that fuel comes not from noise or busyness or striving. It comes from me, from time in my presence, from a heart turned toward me, from the quiet surrender that says, "Here I am, Lord. Take all of me." I see how the world has numbed you, how scrolling has silenced the sacred, how comparisons have stolen your joy. I see how you try to keep up, to do, to achieve, to impress, while all the while your soul is whispering, "I just want to be known. I just want to be loved." You are not wrong for craving love. You are not needy or too much or weak. You are simply human, and I designed humans for connection. Not superficial touches and fleeting glances, but deep soul knitting, divine intimacy. And before you seek that in anyone else, I want you to find it in me. I want to be your first home, your first answer, your first place of rest. I want you to come to me not just when the storms hit, but when the sun is shining too. I want you to know that my love is not a parachute. It is your atmosphere, surrounds you always. It is not something you fall into in crisis. It is the very air you breathe. But you must become aware of it. You must awaken to it. And that happens not when you try harder, but when you grow quieter. When you allow your heart to hear again. I am not afraid of your silence. I am not intimidated by your questions. I do not turn away from your doubts. I welcome them. I hold space for them. I am not a fragile God, needing you to defend me. I am your Father, strong enough to carry your questions and close enough to whisper truth to your trembling heart. You've been told that faith means having no doubts, but true faith is trusting me even while the doubts still speak. It is saying, I don't see the full picture, but I trust the painter. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you are meant to be in this moment. The enemy wants you to believe that your timeline is broken, that you've missed your chance, that others are moving ahead while you are stuck in place. But remember, my pace is not the world's pace. What I build in you is eternal, cannot be rushed. You do not bloom by striving. You bloom by abiding. Stay rooted in me, and you will bear fruit in season. Fruit that lasts, fruit that nourishes not only you but all who are near you. Do not despise the small beginnings. Do not curse the quiet seasons. It is in the hidden places that your foundation is laid. I am building something within you that will not collapse when the winds of life blow hard. I am making you into a person who can carry glory, not for your fame, but for my name. You may not see it yet, but others will. They will notice your peace when the world is in panic. They will see your joy when circumstances say you should have none. They will ask where your hope comes from, and you will tell them, it comes from the one who never left me. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. Heaven knows your name. Angels know your voice. Every time you speak in faith, even through tears, it is recorded. Every time you choose love instead of retaliation, you are seen. Every time you rise from failure and try again, all of heaven rejoices. You are living a life that matters far more than you realize. And the best part? This is still just the beginning. You may not see the fruit of your prayers today, but seeds are being sown. The things you have prayed for in secret, the people you have carried in intercession, the dreams you've dared to whisper, none of them are lost. I have gathered them all. I have heard every cry, and in due time, you will reap a harvest that will make you weep with gratitude. Keep praying. Keep believing. Not because your voice is loud, but because your faith is real. That is what moves mountains. Even now, I am aligning things on your behalf. I am preparing people you haven't met yet, opening doors you don't yet see, shifting hearts that you cannot reach. You do not need to orchestrate everything. You only need to be faithful where you are, love where you are, shine where you are, and trust me to handle what is beyond you. I am not passive. I am active in your story. You may feel like nothing is changing, but in the unseen, everything is shifting. So lift your eyes, beloved. Don't stare so long at the dust of the past that you miss the dew of the morning. Something new is beginning. It may not look like fireworks or sound like trumpets. It may begin in a whisper, a subtle shift, a quiet knowing, but it is real. It is sacred, and it is yours. Receive it with open hands, not clenched fists. Let go of what weighs you down. Old offenses, unanswered questions, unrealistic expectations. I never asked you to carry those. I asked you to carry faith. Let that be enough. You don't need to impress me. You don't need to convince me. I already love you more than you will ever understand. And that love is not going anywhere. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. I will never stop pursuing your heart. Even when you run, even when you hide, even when you're tired of trying. I will still be here, arms open, ready to embrace you without hesitation. You are mine, and nothing will change that. You've been strong for so long, strong for your family, strong in front of others, strong in the silence where no one sees your trembling hands or the heaviness that rests on your shoulders like an invisible weight. But I never asked you to carry it all alone. I never required your strength as proof of your love for me. My strength is not a reward for your perfection. It is a gift for your surrender. You don't have to be the unbreakable one. I am the rock. I am the foundation. I am the one who holds all things together, including you. I know the nights when you lie awake, not because you're afraid of monsters in the dark, but because your thoughts won't let you rest. The memories that haunt you, the mistakes you can't forget, the fears about tomorrow that loom like giants. But beloved, listen to me. None of those things define you. Not the things you've done, not the things others did to you, not the things you failed to become. You are not the sum of your regrets. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are mine, and I do not write stories of defeat. You've tried to make sense of the pain. You've asked, why this path? Why this burden? But the truth is, you are walking through a refining fire, not because you are cursed, but because you are chosen. The fire is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to reveal the gold within. And yes, it burns. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But what emerges on the other side will be stronger, brighter, more radiant than anything you've ever imagined. You are being shaped not by shame but by purpose. Not by punishment but by preparation. You keep asking if you're too late. But do you not know that I am the master of time? I can restore years that were lost. I can breathe new life into what was buried long ago. You may feel behind, but I am not in a hurry. I am not anxious about your timeline. I am patient because I see the full picture, and I know the beauty that is still unfolding. What you call delay, I call design. What you call failure, I call foundation. You are not too late. You are right on time for what I am about to do. Stop apologizing for your humanity. I made you human. I made you with emotion, with longing, with complexity. You don't have to pretend to be fine. I would rather have your honesty than your performance. Tell me when you're tired. Tell me when you're angry. Tell me when you're confused. I won't turn away. I won't rebuke your emotion. I already know it all. I just want you to trust me with it. I want you to learn what intimacy truly means. Not hiding, not pretending, but being fully seen and still fully loved. You think the best parts of your life are behind you, but I see differently. I see a garden ready to bloom. I see laughter waiting to return to your lips. I see music stirring in your spirit again, creativity rising from the ashes, hope catching fire like dawn breaking through the fog. The chapter you mourn is not the final one. I am still writing. I am still breathing into you. I am not finished, and neither are you. Let me remind you, your presence on this earth is not random. You were born for such a time as this. There are people only you can reach, hearts only your voice can touch, wounds only your compassion can heal. I placed you in your family, in your city, in this generation, not by chance, but by intention. You are not invisible to me, and you will not be insignificant in my kingdom. What you do matters, even the smallest act, when done in love, becomes eternal in my hands. I see how often you love without receiving love in return, how you give without being thanked, how you support others while feeling unsupported. But don't grow weary in doing good. You are not unnoticed. I am keeping account, not because I demand repayment, but because I delight in your heart. I see every unseen sacrifice. I will return to you in ways beyond your expectation, and not because you earned it, but because you are mine, and I love to bless those who bless others. Do not let the voices of the world drown out the truth I've spoken over you. They may call you foolish for hoping. They may mock your peace. They may question your joy, but they do not know what I've done in your soul. They do not know the battles you've fought in silence, or the prayers you've cried through tears. They do not know what it took to keep believing when everything around you was crumbling. But I do. I saw it all, and I am proud of you. Yes, proud, not because you won every battle, but because you never stopped standing. And when you feel like giving up, when the day is too heavy and your strength is gone, I will carry you. You don't have to perform. You don't have to impress. You simply have to rest in me. I will not let you fall. I will not abandon you in the wilderness. I will walk with you until the sun rises again. And it will. The night cannot last forever. The morning always comes. And when it does, you'll understand that I was with you all along. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the vision I placed in your heart. It may seem impossible, but I specialize in impossible. I part seas. I move mountains. I breathe life into dry bones. And I am breathing life into you. Even now, as you hear these words, I am stirring something deep inside. A flicker of faith. A whisper of hope. A sense that maybe, just maybe, this is not the end. And it isn't. There are parts of your story you've been too afraid to revisit. Moments you buried so deep that even your own heart grew silent toward them. But I have never stopped watching over those spaces. The ones where you were hurt and never told anyone. The ones where you gave more than you had and were left with nothing. The places where you loved deeply and were met with coldness. You tucked them away because the world told you to be strong, to move on, to forget. But I never asked you to forget. I asked you to bring them to me, not to dwell but to heal. You have done so well holding everything together, keeping the smile in public and the tears in private. But I see through both, and I honor your strength, yes, but more than that, I honor your softness, your sensitivity, your capacity to still love in a world that has often failed to love you back. That is where your beauty lies, not in how perfectly you appear, but in how deeply you feel. You have walked through fire and you still extend warmth. You've been cut and still offer gentleness. You've been disappointed and yet you remain available to joy. That is holiness. That is strength. You may think your life is too quiet to matter. That because you don't stand on stages or hold microphones or speak into crowds, your impact is small. But do not be deceived. The loudest voices are not always the most powerful. I do not measure greatness by numbers or applause. I measure it by faithfulness. And you, my beloved, are faithful. Every time you comfort a child, you comfort me. Every time you forgive someone who hasn't said sorry, you honor me. Every time you choose compassion over bitterness, you mirror me. Your prayers have changed things you'll never see. Your intercession has built bridges over which generations will walk. Do not belittle the quiet work. The spiritual labor done in hiddenness echoes through eternity. Heaven celebrates what the world overlooks. The world may forget your name, but I never will. It is engraved on the palm of my hand. I have counted every hair on your head. I have memorized your voice. I have stored your laughter in the depths of my being. You are not forgotten. You are known. There are still parts of you that question your value. Places where old lies still whisper. They tell you that you are not enough, not special, not worth the attention. But those are not my words. Those are not my thoughts toward you. I call you beloved. I call you chosen. I call you radiant. You shine. Not because you're trying to, but because my light lives in you. And when you begin to believe what I say about you, everything changes. Not because your circumstances shift overnight, but because your identity anchors you in truth. I don't want your perfect words. I want your honest ones. I don't need your grand gestures. I want your surrendered heart. You don't need to impress me. You need only to be with me. I didn't choose you because you had it all together. I chose you because I knew what I could do through you. And even when you stumble, I don't withdraw. I draw near. I draw closer. I draw you back. That is what grace does. It runs to the prodigal. It carries the weak. It weeps with the weary. My grace is not just a covering. It's a lifeline. You've carried shame that was never yours to carry. You've apologized for simply existing, for having needs, for not being everything to everyone. But I never asked you to be everyone's savior. That's my role. I never asked you to exhaust yourself trying to be enough. I already said you are. You don't need to earn rest, you are worthy of it. You don't need to deserve love, you already have it. I'm not waiting for a cleaner version of you. I want you now, as you are. In your fatigue, in your questions, in your silent longing. Let me in there, into the places you've locked away even from yourself. When others look at you, they may only see the surface. But I see the depth. I see the years of endurance. The moments you were tempted to give up but didn't. The nights you wept for people who never knew you prayed for them. The way you've kept hope alive like a candle cupped in your hands against the wind. I see you, and what I see is beautiful. Not because you've done everything right, but because you've kept choosing love in a world that gives you reasons not to. That is divine. Do you know how proud I am of you? Not in the way the world offers flattery, but in the way a father beams when his child takes their first step after a long fall. In the way heaven roars when a soul chooses to believe again, even after heartbreak. You don't need to be extraordinary. You only need to be mine. And you are. Fully, eternally, irrevocably mine. No mistake you've made can cancel my choice. I knew your future and still chose you. That's how deep my love runs. So walk with your head lifted, not in arrogance, but in identity. You are not the sum of your pain. You are not the echo of rejection. You are not the residue of failure. You are the dwelling place of my spirit, the temple of my presence, a carrier of heaven on earth. Let that sink in. Let it fill every cracked space with confidence, not a confidence built on your strength, but on my presence within you. I am not merely near you, I live in you, and if I live in you, then what can overcome you? What fear can destroy you? What shame can define you? No darkness can remain where light has claimed dominion. And I, beloved, have claimed every inch of you. There is no part of your life I will not redeem. No wound I will not heal. No future I will not go before. You are not stepping into the unknown alone. I am already there. There is a fire within you that has not gone out. Though the winds of this world have tried to extinguish it, though the waters of sorrow have threatened to drown it, it still burns. Quietly, faithfully, deep beneath the ashes of disappointment and delay, that fire flickers with a steady hope. And I see it. I see what others overlook. I see the passion in your soul that refuses to die. The dreams that still whisper even when you're too tired to listen. The calling that stirs every time you close your eyes and ask, is there more than this? Yes, there is. There is so much more. You were never meant to live a life of survival alone. You were made for significance, not for the praise of man, but for the glory of my name shining through your life. You were born with purpose etched into your DNA, divine design woven into your very soul. The aching in your heart is not a sign of failure. It's an invitation to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. I did not create you to merely get through the days. I formed you to light them up, to walk into rooms and carry peace, to speak and release truth, to live in such a way that those around you begin to hope again. But how, you ask, can I do that when I feel so ordinary, so small? You don't understand. It is not your eloquence that moves mountains. It is your faith. It is not your qualifications that open doors. It is my favor resting upon you. You do not need to be noticed by people to be called by me. Some of the greatest moves I've made in this world have come through nameless saints who chose obedience over recognition. And I see you the same way. You do not need to prove yourself to be used. You only need to say yes. There is an army of doubt that surrounds your mind. Voices that say you're not ready, not gifted, not enough. But I silence them with a single truth. I chose you. I don't make mistakes. And I don't change my mind. The call I placed on your life still stands. The vision I whispered in the quiet still breathes. It doesn't matter how far you've wandered. how long it's been, or how many times you tried and failed. I don't define you by your detours. I define you by your destiny. You may have forgotten the dream, but I haven't. And now I am awakening it again. This is the season of returning, not just to me, but to yourself, to the real you, the you that believed before life got complicated, the you that worshipped without shame, the you that laughed freely, loved fully, trusted deeply. I am bringing you back to that place, not so you can remain the same, but so you can be renewed. What the enemy tried to harden, I will soften. What the world tried to erase, I will restore. You are not too far from joy. You are not too lost for purpose. You are on holy ground even now, just by listening, just by being willing to believe again. The world will always try to define you by what you produce, by your output, your influence, your achievements. But I define you by your essence. You are mine. That alone is your greatest identity. And when you live from that place, not striving but resting, you become unstoppable. Because you no longer fear failure. You no longer chase approval. You no longer crumble under pressure. You know who you are. And from that knowledge flows peace like a river, courage like a lion, and love like an unending stream. Let me speak to the warrior in you, the part that still rises, even when everything in you wants to lay down. You have survived things others couldn't see, endured battles they never knew you were fighting. And yet, here you are, still standing. Not because it was easy, but because my hand was on you. I have preserved you for more than survival. I've preserved you for victory. I am raising you up, not in pride, but in purpose. You will lead. You will love. You will break chains not only in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. You are more powerful than you realize, not because of who you are, but because of who lives within you. My spirit is not timid. My spirit does not cower. My spirit within you is bold, wise, and fiercely loving. I am not raising passive believers. I am awakening passionate carriers of truth and grace. You, my child, are one of them. Do not shrink back from the fire inside you. Let it burn. Let it purify. Let it refine. Let it guide. And I will use it to illuminate paths for others who are still lost in the dark. The time is now, not when you feel more ready, not when you've fixed every flaw. Now, my power is made perfect in weakness, not in your performance. All I need is your trust, your yes, your heart. Let me fill in the rest. I will lead you one step at a time, never ahead of what you're ready for, always at the pace of grace. And as you walk with me, you will see doors open, not because you forced them, but because I held the key. Lift your eyes. Look again, not with the lens of fear or failure, but with the eyes of faith. There is still more. More life, more laughter, more beauty, more purpose. Do not settle. Do not make peace with despair. There is nothing noble in staying small when I've called you to live big in my love. Let go of the lies. Let go of the limits. Step into the waters. I will not let you drown. I will part seas if I must. I will call you to walk on waves, not to impress the world, but to teach you how to trust. This is not just about you. It never was. Your healing will become someone else's breakthrough. Your faith will inspire another to believe. Your restoration will show the world that I am still in the business of redemption. So don't be afraid to rise. Don't be afraid to shine. You were never meant to hide. You were born to reflect heaven. There's a voice that sometimes whispers inside you, quiet but persistent, telling you that you should have known better, that you should have done more, that somehow all the pain you've walked through was your fault. And you've carried that voice like a shadow, letting it shape your decisions, your self-worth, your future. But today I speak to that voice, and I silence it in my name. I am not the one who shames you. I am the one who frees you, the one who calls you not by your sins, but by your name. Forgiveness was never meant to be a theory, it was meant to be your freedom. And that freedom includes the hardest kind of forgiveness, the one you offer to yourself. You've been forgiven in heaven, but you've kept yourself in prison on earth, locked behind bars of guilt, regret, and replayed memories. But those bars are illusions. The door has been open the whole time, and today I call you out of that cell. Today I say you are free. The punishment you think you deserve has already been paid. And I paid it in full, not with reluctance, but with joy. Because you were worth it. You think holding onto the guilt is being responsible. But in truth, it's only delaying your healing. I don't need you to pay for what I already covered. I need you to believe me when I say, it is finished. Your sins are cast as far as the east is from the west. Your past is not a chain. It is a testimony, a sign that where sin increased, my grace overflowed even more. You are not what you did. You are who I say you are. Redeemed, renewed, rewritten in love. You've asked me to help you forgive others, and I have seen your effort. I've watched as you tried to love the ones who hurt you, to pray for those who misunderstood you. I've seen how you swallowed bitterness and reached instead for mercy. And that is beautiful. That is holy. But now I ask you to go one step further. Will you forgive you? Will you release yourself from the burden of being your own judge? Will you surrender the gavel and let me write the verdict? Because if I, the only righteous judge, say you are not condemned, then who has the right to disagree? I know the memories still visit. The things you said in anger. The things you didn't say when you had the chance. The crossroads you now regret. But what you call failure, I have folded into purpose. There is nothing wasted in my hands. I can redeem every part of your story, even the chapters you wish had never been written. I'm not ashamed of your past. I don't cringe when I remember it. I see the full picture, the arc of grace, the unfolding of glory, and I want you to see it too. You are not meant to keep reliving the same pain. Not meant to stay stuck in the cycle of shame and sorrow. Healing is not pretending nothing happened. It is choosing to see it through my eyes. Eyes of restoration. Eyes of wisdom. Eyes that know how to turn ashes into gardens. You've carried your regrets like scars across your soul, but I want you to see them differently now. Not as stains, but as sacred reminders. Proof that you are still here, still chosen, still breathing. There is someone you were meant to become, and you're still on the way there. You haven't missed it. You haven't messed it up too badly. My plans are not fragile. They don't collapse with your missteps. I know how to bring beauty out of brokenness. I know how to make rivers in the desert. And I know how to take the very things that were meant to destroy you and turn them into your testimony. This is who I am. This is what I do. Not because you earned it, but because I love you more than words could ever capture. You keep wondering if the damage can be undone. If the people you hurt will ever heal. If the opportunities you lost will ever return. But hear me now. I am not limited by human timelines or human hearts. I can restore relationships. I can bring new opportunities. And even if some things never return in the way you expected, I will give you something better. Peace. Not just peace with others. Peace with yourself. You were never created to live with your head bowed in regret. You were made to walk upright in grace. And I will teach you how. Little by little. One day at a time. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll wonder if you're making progress at all. But trust me, healing is happening. Restoration is unfolding. And the more you rest in my presence, the more you will remember who you truly are. Not a mistake, not a burden, not a problem to be fixed, but a beloved child, fully seen and still fully accepted. I know it's hard to let go of what you've carried for so long. The guilt became familiar. The self-punishment almost felt deserved. But I want more for you. I want joy that lasts. I want freedom that goes deep. I want laughter to return to your spirit. I want you to wake up each day without the weight of yesterday pressing down on your chest. I want you to look in the mirror and see what I see. Not the flaws, not the failures, but the face of someone who made it. Someone who fought battles in silence and still stood up. Someone who bears the image of their creator. So let me love you until you believe it. Let me hold you until the shame dissolves. Let me whisper truth into the places that still echo with accusation. Let me show you that redemption isn't a distant promise. It's a present reality. You don't have to wait for the perfect day. You don't have to earn the right to move forward. The moment is now. Grace is here, and so am I. You've spent so long trying to be okay, trying to feel better, trying to smile through the weight that still lingered behind your eyes. But joy, real joy, was never something you had to manufacture. It was something I promised to place inside of you. Not happiness that depends on circumstances. Not fleeting excitement that vanishes with the wind. But joy that remains. Joy that carries you through the valley. Joy that burns even when the night is long. And I am placing that joy inside you now. It may not come with fanfare. It may not burst like fireworks. It may start as something small, something quiet, a warm presence in the midst of confusion, a breath of peace when you weren't expecting it. But that is me. I don't always arrive in earthquakes and flames. Sometimes I come in the stillness. Sometimes I come in the smile of a child, in the way sunlight dances on your window, in a song that stirs something sacred within your chest. You don't have to chase joy. You simply have to let me give it. You've believed that joy was for other people. People who had less pain, fewer regrets, more reason to smile. But that belief is not from me. I have never withheld joy from the broken. In fact, it's the broken I long to fill. Blessed are the poor in spirit, the mourning, the meek, because I come to them first. And you, my child, have already caught my eye, not because of how well you've hidden your hurt, but because of how deeply you've longed for me. That longing is holy, and it is joy's beginning. Joy is not the denial of pain, it is the defiance of it. It is the choice to say, even here, even now, I will trust. It is the song that rises from prison cells, the praise that blooms in the desert, the dance that comes after years of waiting. I want to teach you that kind of joy, not the one that's tied to what you have or what goes right, but the one that's tied to who I am. I do not change. And when your joy is rooted in me, it cannot be taken. There will still be days when the shadows try to return. Days when grief visits like an old friend. And that's okay. I don't expect you to pretend. I don't require a plastic smile. What I desire is authenticity. Honest hearts that still choose to hope, even through tears. Joy and sorrow are not enemies. They often live side by side, dancing in rhythm with the seasons of your soul. But joy, when it is true, always gets the final word. And I will make sure of that. You were not made to live under the weight of the world. You were made to carry light, to reflect light, to be light. And I know how to restore what has dimmed. I know how to ignite what the world tried to snuff out. Even if you've forgotten what it feels like to laugh from the belly, to smile without effort, to wake up looking forward to something, those moments are not lost forever. They are returning. They are being restored. You will know that kind of joy again. It starts in the small things, in gratitude, in recognizing that even now, even here, there are gifts surrounding you. The breath in your lungs, the steady beat of your heart, the people who love you in their quiet, imperfect ways, the food on your table, the dreams that still stir when everything else falls silent. And yes, even the pain you've endured, because it has not been in vain. It has softened you, strengthened you, shaped you into someone who feels more deeply, sees more clearly, loves more freely. Joy is not found in having everything go right. It's found in knowing that no matter what happens, you are not alone. I walk with you. I laugh with you. I sing over you in the night. I dance with you in the morning. You may not always feel it, but heaven surrounds you. And sometimes the joy you seek is simply a matter of tuning your heart to its frequency, of allowing me to show you how near I really am. There's a kind of laughter that's been missing from your life. The kind that's free, unburdened, without fear of judgment or interruption. I am restoring that to you, and not just for a moment, for a lifetime. I want your home to be filled with joy, your relationships to be soaked in joy, your work to be sustained by joy. I want people to encounter you and feel lighter, because you carry something of heaven inside you. The world doesn't need more critics. It doesn't need more fear. It needs joy, holy, radiant, untouchable joy. And you, my child, are a carrier of that joy. Even when you don't feel it, it's there. Even when it's buried, it's burning. And soon it will overflow into your voice, into your steps, into the way you show up in every room you enter. Not a fake smile, but a sacred strength. Not surface happiness, but unshakable peace. So laugh again, even if your voice shakes, even if it's been too long. Let your spirit remember how it feels to breathe deeply, to dance badly, to delight in the simple beauty of being alive. I did not create you to endure life. I created you to enjoy it. Not in a shallow way, not in ignorance, but in fullness, in freedom, in the kind of joy that says, my Redeemer lives, and therefore, I can live too. And you will. You've looked ahead and seen uncertainty. You've tried to map out your path, to predict what's coming next, to prepare yourself for every possible outcome. But even with all your planning, there are moments when fear still creeps in. What if it doesn't work out? What if things never change? What if you hope again and it breaks you? My beloved, I understand those questions, but I invite you now to see with different eyes. Not the eyes of fear, but the eyes of faith. Because faith doesn't need to see the full picture to believe that I am working. It simply needs to know who I am, and I am faithful. When I speak, I do not whisper empty words into the wind. My promises are not poetic comforts. They are foundations, anchors, rock beneath your feet. If I have said I will restore, I will. If I have declared blessing over you, it will come. If I have spoken healing, it is already unfolding. My word is not bound by time. It exists outside of clocks and calendars. What you see as delay, I see as development. What you call unanswered, I call not yet, but soon. Lift your eyes from the dust. Stop measuring tomorrow by the limitations of today. I do not operate according to your current capacity. I lead you into places where your faith must grow, where your strength is stretched, where your trust becomes sight. That is where miracles happen. Not in the comfortable, but in the impossible. You've asked me for great things. Do you not realize that great things require great trust? You have walked through fire. You have wandered through seasons that felt like deserts, dry, endless, barren. But even there, I was planting something. You just couldn't see it yet. My spirit was preparing the soil of your heart to hold the weight of what I'm about to pour out. The dreams that died are not buried. They are planted. And now they are beginning to break the surface. Slowly, maybe, quietly, perhaps, but surely, and they will rise. This is not just a new chapter. This is a new book, a new beginning, a new season of overflow. And not because you've earned it, but because I have destined it. You've cried long enough. You've waited faithfully. You've stood firm in the dark. Now I am bringing you into the light. You may feel unready, but readiness is not a requirement for what I'm doing. Willingness is. You simply need to say yes. Yes to believing again. Yes to dreaming again. Yes to walking into unknown spaces with me. Let go of the fear that says, what if it fails? And embrace the voice that says, what if it works? What if this time it's different? What if this time the door opens, the chains break, the prayers are answered? What if I really do want to give you more than you imagined? Because I do. I always have. Do not shrink your expectations to match your disappointments. Raise them to match my promises. I do not lie. I do not tease. I do not give stones when you ask for bread. I am a good father, and the gifts I give will not be hollow. They will be full of life, full of grace, full of joy unspeakable. But you must believe they are coming. You must hold fast when the wind tells you to let go. You must trust the root even when you don't yet see the fruit. Hope is not foolish. Hope is not fragile. Hope is a weapon, and it has carried you farther than you realize. Every time you've chosen to believe when it made no sense, you've pushed back darkness. Every time you've said, God, I still trust you, you've shifted the atmosphere. Your hope has moved mountains in ways you may never fully know this side of eternity. But I know, and I honor it. The vision I've placed inside you wasn't random. The things your spirit keeps returning to, the calling, the dream, the desire to make an impact, they are not selfish, not naive, not too late. They are sacred echoes of what I designed you to do. You are not crazy for wanting more. You were born for more, and I'm not done revealing it to you. But you must stop looking at the past as your blueprint. It's not the standard. It's not the limit. What happened then was real, but it's not your forecast. I am doing something new, something you've never seen. You don't have to understand it to receive it. You just have to remain open, soft, expectant. Let go of timelines and surrender to the flow of my spirit. I have not forgotten how to surprise you. There are things coming that you didn't pray for, but that I'm sending because I'm good. There are doors opening that no man can shut. There are connections forming, hearts healing, opportunities aligning. And they are not coincidence. They are orchestration, holy design. I've been weaving a masterpiece behind the curtain of your ordinary. And now, I'm about to pull it back and show you what I've been doing all along. So rejoice, not because everything is perfect, but because everything is possible. Rejoice in advance. Rejoice like the promise is already here. Let your faith praise me before your eyes can see it. That kind of worship shakes foundations. That kind of trust moves heaven. The time is near. You will see my goodness in the land of the living. You will walk in promises fulfilled. And when you look back, you will not regret the waiting. You will see that it was all preparation for glory you could barely contain. You've waited long enough. You've been healed, forgiven, restored. You've remembered who you are. Now it's time to walk in it. You are not just someone I rescued. You are someone I'm sending. You were never meant to keep the light only for yourself. You are not a reservoir. You are a river. What I've poured into you, I now ask you to release. The comfort you received, give it. The love you felt, share it. The truth you've learned, speak it. You are my hands and feet on this earth. And the world is desperate for what you carry. I know you don't feel ready. I know you still feel small sometimes. But I do not call the qualified, I qualify the called. And you, my child, are called. You don't need a microphone to be my voice. You don't need a stage to carry my presence. Some of the most powerful movements in my kingdom begin in kitchens, in quiet prayers, in whispered blessings over sleeping children, in phone calls to the lonely, in meals given to the hungry, in forgiveness extended to those who don't deserve it. The sacred is not always loud, but it is always holy. You've asked me to use you, and I have heard that prayer. I'm answering it now, not with a lightning strike, but with a gentle nudge. That person in front of you, they're the mission. That neighbor you keep thinking about, that's not random. That idea you can't shake, that stirring in your chest, that burning to create, to speak, to help, to build, that's me. That's my spirit awakening you. I don't want to just dwell in you. I want to move through you. Because when you move, heaven moves with you. This world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more authenticity. And that's why I've chosen you. Not because you have every answer, but because you know what it's like to be broken and loved anyway. To fall and be lifted. To wander and be found. You carry the fragrance of mercy, and the world is starving for it. You don't need to preach with eloquence. Preach with your life. Preach with your peace. Preach with your refusal to give up. Your joy will preach. Your kindness will preach. Your story will preach. I will anoint the simple things and make them supernatural. Don't underestimate what I can do through one surrendered life. I used a shepherd boy to defeat a giant, a stuttering prophet to deliver a nation, a teenage girl to carry the Messiah, a fisherman to build my church. I specialize in the unlikely. And yes, I choose you, because in your humility, I can reveal my glory. You are not the hero of the story. I am, but I've written your name into the pages, not as a bystander, but as a vessel. It's time to live with purpose, not pressure. You don't have to rush. You don't have to strive. You don't have to force anything open. Just walk with me, one obedient step at a time. I'll show you where to go. I'll give you the words to speak. I'll bring the people you need. I'll open doors no man can shut. What I need from you is not performance. It's presence. Stay with me and we will walk this together. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience. People whose hearts will be softened because you dared to love. People whose chains will be broken because you dared to believe. People who will come to me, not because of a sermon, but because of a conversation you had when you thought no one was watching. Never underestimate your impact. Never assume your part is too small. In my hands, every seed sown in love produces a harvest greater than you can imagine. You are not just surviving anymore. You are sowing. You are building. You are healing others with the same healing I gave you. And this is where joy multiplies not only when you receive, but when you give. When you begin to see lives shift because you showed up. When you notice that hope has begun to bloom in places where there once was despair. You were made for this. You were created for such a time as this. There is no competition in my kingdom. You don't have to compare. You don't have to outperform. You don't need to be louder, faster, better. You just need to be faithful. Run your race. Walk your path. Water your garden. Stay in your lane and watch what I do. The fruit will come, not from striving, but from abiding. And that fruit will feed more than you'll ever know. You may not see every result. You may never hear every story. But nothing you do in my name is ever wasted. Every act of love echoes in eternity. Every quiet act of obedience reshapes reality. You are more powerful than you know, not because of your talent, but because of your surrender. Stay low. Stay humble. Stay dependent on me. And you will see things you never thought possible. So rise, my child, not just to receive but to release, not just to be restored but to restore. The world is not waiting for another performer. It's waiting for someone who carries my heart. You carry it now. Let's go where the hurting are. Let's go where the lost wander. Let's go where the light is needed. I am with you, and I go before you. This is not the end of your healing. This is the beginning of your calling. You have said yes. You've stepped out in faith. You've begun to walk in what I've placed within you. But now comes the part few talk about, the in-between, the space between the calling and the fulfillment, between the planting and the harvest, between the mountain moments and the quiet, ordinary days. This is where endurance is born. This is where faith becomes substance. Not when everything is exciting, but when it's not. And still, you choose me. The world celebrates passion that burns fast and bright. But I delight in the steady flame. The one that flickers quietly through wind and rain and still refuses to die. That's the fire I've placed in you. Not one that depends on applause. Not one that needs constant signs and wonders. But one that chooses me even when no one is watching. One that shows up. One that endures. One that burns slow and holy year after year. You will be tempted to believe that unless everything feels spiritual, it's not worth much. But I am not just found in the miraculous. I am in the mundane, in your early mornings, in the laundry, in your job, in the hallway conversations, in your hidden sacrifices. These are not distractions from your purpose. These are your purpose. It is here, in the repetition, in the dailiness, that your faith matures and your soul deepens. This is where intimacy with me is forged. You don't need new beginnings every week. What you need is consistency, faithfulness, the kind that keeps showing up when the excitement is gone, the kind that keeps praying when answers don't come quickly, the kind that keeps choosing joy when no one else around you is. That is strength. That is maturity. That is glory. Do not mistake boredom for failure. Do not confuse stillness for stagnation. The tree grows its strongest roots when the surface looks the most still. The greatest depth in you is being formed when you feel the least visible. What I am doing in your inner life matters more than what others see in your outer life. If you stay rooted, you will bear fruit, not just for a season but for a lifetime. You are not running a sprint. You are running a marathon. The goal is not speed, it is endurance. It is becoming the kind of person who finishes well, who loves well to the very end, who doesn't just begin with passion, but ends with wisdom. I am not only interested in your fire, I am committed to your faithfulness. There will be seasons where you don't feel much, where prayer feels quiet, where worship feels like a whisper, and that's okay. Your emotions are not your enemy, but they are not your guide. Your guide is my word. Your anchor is my promise. Your foundation is my faithfulness. And even when you feel nothing, your spirit is still being strengthened as you continue to choose me. The enemy loves to speak loudest when things feel slow. He wants you to doubt the seed because you don't yet see the fruit. But remember, I am never late. My timing is not cruel, it is careful. I am building something eternal in you. I am not just preparing blessings for your life. I am preparing you for those blessings. Because without deep roots, even good fruit will destroy the tree. You've seen others run ahead. You've seen people rise quickly and burn out just as fast. Do not envy them. Do not compare. I am writing your story at the perfect pace. And when your moment comes, you will not only be ready, you will be solid. Your voice will carry weight. Your presence will bring peace. Your joy will be unshakable because it was forged in the waiting. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for persistence. Keep showing up. Keep choosing love. Keep returning to me. I see your faithfulness even when no one else does. I reward what is done in secret, and nothing done in love is ever wasted. You are being formed into someone who carries eternity in their spirit, who is not moved by praise or by pressure, who walks in quiet strength, rooted in truth. This kind of life doesn't always feel glamorous, but it will bear fruit that lasts for generations. It will impact more than you will ever see. It will make you trustworthy, not only to others, but in my eyes. So remain in me when the days are long, when the emotions fade, when the outcomes are unclear. Remain. For those who abide in me will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. But with me, there is no limit to what I can do through your life. This is how we change the world, not through grand gestures, but through faithful hearts. Through the quiet ones who love consistently, who serve humbly, who believe stubbornly. You may not always be the loudest, but you will be the most steadfast, and I will build much through you. So keep walking, keep sowing, keep returning to the altar of my presence each day. I am not finished. I am not slow. I am simply forming in you what can only be shaped over time. And when others burn out, you will burn on. When others fall away, you will still be found standing, not because of your strength, but because you chose to remain in mine. There is a level of closeness I've longed to share with you, not from a distance, not just through moments of prayer, but in constant communion. Not a connection built on moments, but a relationship built on presence. I don't only want to be your refuge in crisis. I want to be your breath in every moment. I want to be the rhythm of your soul, the one you walk with when life is loud and when life is quiet. I want your life to become one long conversation with me. You've known my touch in the sacred moments, in worship, in tears, in breakthroughs. But I want you to know my nearness in the ordinary too. When you're washing dishes, driving to work, folding clothes, listening to someone who just needs to be heard. I am there, not observing you from afar, but within you, living in you, flowing through you. I have never left, not for a second. The veil has been torn. My spirit does not visit you, he dwells in you. You are my home. But for you to walk in this reality, you must stop separating the spiritual from the everyday. There is no division in me. I am as present in your laughter as I am in your worship, as near in your questions as in your declarations of faith. Holiness is not reserved for sacred buildings or Sunday services. It is in the quiet yes of your heart. It is in the way you choose love again and again, even when it's hard. It is in the way you pause to listen when your soul wants to rush. Invite me into everything, not just the big decisions, but the small ones. Not just the turning points, but the daily patterns. I want to shape the way you speak, the way you eat, the way you rest, the way you move through the world. I want to fill your mornings with peace, your afternoons with strength, and your nights with calm assurance that I am watching over you as you sleep. I want you to live with the awareness that heaven is not just a future promise. It is a present reality that begins now in you. You were not made to live as a visitor in my presence. You were made to dwell here, to remain here, to find your life here. And when you do, everything changes, not always externally, but internally. You begin to carry peace that can't be shaken, joy that doesn't depend on outcomes, wisdom that transcends education, love that can't be explained. These are not personality traits. They are signs that you've been with me, and others will notice, not because you try to impress them, but because light cannot be hidden. My presence in you will leak out, in how you listen, how you forgive, how you serve, how you speak. Your very being will become a sanctuary, Your presence will begin to feel like peace. And it won't be because of anything you've done. It will be because you've allowed me to fill every empty space, every cracked place, every room in your heart. There is a difference between believing in me and walking with me. You've believed, you've trusted, but now I am calling you to walk closer, to abide, to listen more than you speak, to let my spirit guide your every step, not just in crisis, but in rhythm, in habit, in stillness, in conversation. When my voice becomes your first instinct and not your last resort, you will know you've crossed into a deeper place. This kind of life requires intention. It requires slowing down, tuning in, learning to recognize my whispers in the noise, not because I'm far, but because the world is loud. You must choose silence sometimes, not as escape, but as encounter. You must choose to say no to distractions that cloud your hearing, not out of guilt, but because you long to hear me clearly. And when you do, you'll realize I've been speaking all along. I don't only speak through thunder, I whisper in the wind. I don't only show up in power, I dwell in presence. Learn to notice me in the unexpected, in the colors of the sky, in the softness of your child's voice, in the stillness before dawn, in the tears that come from nowhere, in the thought that nudges your heart when no one else is around. That's me. I don't shout to get your attention. I wait for your heart to notice. This is what eternal life really is, not just life that goes on forever, but life that begins now with me. Life in union, life in step, life where you are never alone. Not for a moment, not even in your silence. And the more you abide, the more your burdens become light. The more your desires align with mine. The more you begin to live, not for approval, not for validation, not for accomplishment, but for love. You don't have to climb to reach me. You don't have to strain. I am already near. I'm closer than your next breath. Closer than your strongest emotion. Closer than your deepest question. I live inside of you not just as a concept, but as a person. My spirit is not a visitor. He is your constant. And when you begin to live with that awareness, your life becomes something sacred. Every room becomes holy ground. Every moment becomes a chance to worship. This is the invitation. To walk with me, not as a servant trying to earn affection, but as a friend loved, welcomed, known. This is how you were meant to live. And once you taste this life, you will never want anything less again. Because it's not just a better way, it's the only way you were created to exist. In me, with me, through me, always. A life rooted in my presence never stays small. It may begin in hiddenness, it may be quiet in its growth, but it always bears fruit. Not for the sake of fame, but for the sake of love. Not to impress others, but to feed them. I never planted you to remain a seed. I planted you to become a tree strong, unwavering, and fruitful in season. A tree that gives shade to the weary, strength to the broken, and nourishment to those who are hungry for something real. You may not see the fruit immediately, but it is growing. With every act of obedience, with every choice to forgive, with every morning you wake up and say yes again. That is how fruit begins, quietly, faithfully, over time. It doesn't rush. It doesn't perform. It abides. And because you have learned to abide, now I am teaching you to bear. The fruit I give is not temporary. It's not seasonal in the way the world defines seasons. It's eternal. It multiplies across generations. It restores families. It heals communities. It breaks generational curses. It makes crooked paths straight. It lifts eyes that have forgotten how to look up. Your life, surrendered to me, becomes a branch that carries heaven into earth. And that matters more than you can ever imagine. I see how much you care about your family, the people you love most. I know the prayers you've whispered at night, the burdens you've carried for those who seem far from me, the tears you've cried for those who feel unreachable. And I want you to know your prayers are powerful. They are not weak echoes in the dark. They are seeds. Every one of them is being planted. Every one of them is being watered by my spirit. And in due time they will bear fruit. You don't need to convince anyone to change. You don't need to force anyone to see what you see. Your life will speak for itself. The peace you carry, the strength you exude, the kindness you extend. These are louder than any argument. Let the fruit do the talking. Let your life become the evidence that I am real. I am moving in your family, even now, in the ones who have hardened their hearts, in the ones who have walked away, in the ones who say they don't care. I am softening. I am working. I am drawing them near, not through fear, but through the quiet fragrance of love. Be patient. Keep loving. Keep standing. You are the bridge I'm building through. And it's not just your family. I am placing influence in your hands, not the kind that chases followers, but the kind that builds legacies. The kind that shifts atmospheres in rooms you walk into. The kind that lifts others without needing to be lifted yourself. You are salt. You are light. You are my vessel. And through you, people will come to know a love they never knew existed. A love that doesn't manipulate. A love that doesn't demand performance. A love that stays. Let your words carry life. Let your hands bring healing. Let your eyes look with compassion. You don't have to be perfect to make an impact. You just have to be available. And you are. That's why I chose you. That's why I planted you where you are. Your neighborhood, your job, your church, your community. None of it is accidental. You are a living answer to someone else's silent prayer. Sometimes you'll see the fruit immediately. A life changed. A heart softened. A burden lifted. But other times the impact will unfold slowly, quietly, invisibly to you, but never to me. Nothing you do in love is ever lost. I multiply every seed. I use every drop of water. I turn every act of kindness into a wave of transformation. You may never know the full extent of what your life is doing, but I do. And I am proud of you. Don't grow weary in doing good. I know it's tiring to keep pouring out when you're unsure if it's working. But trust me, it's working. The ripple effects are greater than you realize. You are not only impacting today, you are shaping eternity. And yes, the fruit I bear through you will bless others, but it will bless you too. You will taste it. You will live in the joy of seeing lives transformed. You will walk in homes filled with laughter where there once was silence. You will see prodigals come home. You will see fear turn to faith, resentment turn to forgiveness, generational wounds turn to generational worship. This is the harvest I am preparing. Not just for them, for you too. The enemy wants you to think your role is too small, your reach too limited. But nothing is small when it is placed in my hands. I fed thousands with 5 loaves and 2 fish. I turned water into wine. I used fishermen and tax collectors to turn the world upside down. And I will use you right where you are to do more than you think possible. So keep walking, keep sowing, keep loving, keep trusting. You are not working alone. You are co-laboring with heaven. And heaven never fails. One day all of this will fade. The noise, the striving, the fear, the broken systems, the fleeting applause, the heavy days and long nights. One day, the veil will lift, and you will see with clarity what your soul has always known, that I was with you every moment, that you were never alone, that none of it was wasted, that everything good, everything true, everything eternal was waiting for you in me all along. But you don't have to wait until then to begin living in that reality. Eternity isn't just something far away. Eternity begins now. It begins every time you choose love instead of fear. Every time you say yes to my voice over the world's noise. Every time you let my spirit lead, comfort, convict, and restore. You are already walking on holy ground, already breathing the air of another kingdom, already carrying a glory that cannot be seen but can be felt by everyone who meets you. You were made for this kind of life, a life that transcends time, a life rooted not in what you can gain, but in who you are becoming, a life that echoes into forever. You don't need to be afraid of what's coming. I hold the future in my hands, and those hands have never dropped you, not once. When you were falling apart, I was holding you. When you were losing hope, I was building something stronger within you. And when you thought I was silent, I was speaking in a language your heart would one day understand. Everything is building towards something. Every season, every struggle, every joy, they are not random. They are not meaningless. They are forming in you a weight of glory, something that will outlast the stars, something that cannot be destroyed or stolen or forgotten. And one day you will step into my presence fully, and you will understand. You will see the full story. You will know why it had to be this way, and there will be no regret, only worship. Until then, keep walking, keep choosing me, keep lifting your eyes from what is temporary to what is eternal. Don't trade the glory of forever for the distractions of today. Live now for what will matter most then. Let every decision be shaped by love. Let every moment be marked by trust. Let every word, every action, every breath be a declaration. My life belongs to God, and He is enough for me. You won't get it perfect. You're not supposed to, but grace will catch you. Mercy will sustain you. Hope will anchor you. And I will never stop reminding you of who you are and where this is all going. I don't expect perfection. I long for intimacy. I want your heart, your nearness, your trust. That's what matters most. You will lose some things along the way. Some dreams, some people, some plans. But what you gain in me will far outweigh it all. You will find joy that cannot be touched by circumstance. Peace that doesn't bow to chaos. Purpose that fuels your every step. And in the end, when you finally see me face to face, you will know every sacrifice was worth it. The story doesn't end in ashes. It ends in glory. It ends in a city where there are no more tears, no more pain, no more nights. A place where love is the language and joy is the sound. And I am the light that never dims. This is your home. This is your promise. And even now, I am preparing it for you, just as I am preparing you for it. So do not give up. Not now. You've come too far. You've been through too much. You've trusted too deeply to turn back now. Heaven is watching. Angels surround you. Saints are cheering you on. And I am walking beside you. Still, always, forever. Let the world see me in you. Let them taste eternity through your kindness. Let them hear my voice in your laughter. Let them encounter heaven in your embrace. Because you carry more than a message, you carry me. And I will never leave you. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a life lived fully awake, fully surrendered, fully alive. A life where every breath is sacred, every moment holy, every step divine. So go now, radiant, rooted, bold, and beloved. And remember, no matter where you go from here, I am with you. I am for you. I am yours. Always.
This was never just about words. It was about presence. The presence of a God who never left, never changed, and never stopped loving you. If these words stirred something in you, don't rush away. Let them sink deep. Let them stay. And know this, the same God who met you here will meet you again tomorrow, next week, next time you whisper His name. Because He is not finished with you. In fact, He's only just begun. Thank you for watching. If this touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. And until we meet again, stay rooted, stay radiant. And never forget, you are deeply loved.